Penguin Random House Audio presents We Must Be Brave by Liardet. Read for you by Jayne Entwistle and Juliet Mills. Part 1. Ellen. December 1940. 1. She was fast asleep on the back seat of the bus, curled up, thumb in mouth, 4, maybe 5 years old. I turned round. The last few passengers were shuffling away from me down the aisle to the doors. "Whose is this child?" I called. Nobody looked back. Perhaps the bombing had deafened them, or maybe they simply didn't want to hear. "Please, someone's left a child." But they were gone, making their way down the steps and joining the line of people straggling toward the village hall. It was lucky I was there, checking every bus. Otherwise this small girl might have gone all the way back to Southampton. Everybody knew the city was still on fire. We'd seen the smoke from Beacon Hill. She hadn't stirred in spite of my calling. She lay senseless, a gossamer net of light brown hair clinging to her forehead. Her puff-sleeved dress was a dusty mid-blue, the colour of the end papers in the board books of my childhood. No coat or cardigan, despite it being the first day of December. Just a grimy white blanket tangled round her legs, the kind mothers wrapped their babies in, a special knit honeycombed with little holes. I shook her small round shoulder. "Wake up, little one. Wake up." Her thumb fell out of her mouth, but she didn't open her eyes. I stroked back her hair. Her skin was warm and slightly damp. Her tongue was ticking against the roof of her mouth. Thumb or no thumb, she was still sucking. Suppose she started crying when I woke her. I had no great experience with tearful children. Perhaps I should simply carry her into the village hall, and never mind if she was asleep. I took off my new brooch, a silver bar with a pearl, and put it in my pocket. I didn't want it to scrape the child's face. I slid my hands against her hot sides, into her hotter armpits, and pulled her toward me. She was amazingly solid, made of denser stuff than the rest of the world. I got one arm round her back and the other under her bottom and hoisted her up. Her head rocked back as far as it could go, forward again to bump against my collarbone. Then her whole body gave a series of jerks, as if a faulty electrical current was running through her. Perhaps she'd been hit on the head during the air raid. I should get her to the doctor. The dirty blanket fell down over my feet, and I kicked it away and walked with a strange swinging tread down the aisle of the bus. You had to walk this way, I realized, with a child in your arms. There was a powerful odour of Jay's fluid in the bus, but she smelled warm, salty, of new-baked bread. Deirdre Harper came out of the village hall, forearms red to the elbow and dripping suds. "Deirdre, is anyone missing a girl?" She wiped her hands on her apron and delved in the pocket to produce a single wrinkled cigarette. "You're having me on, Mrs. Parr. Now I've seen it all. They can't even remember their own kiddies." "I'm sure it's not like that. Everyone's in shock." Deirdre lit up and exhaled smoke with a wide, down-curving smile of contempt. "In a funk, more like. Funk is all this is, you know. Look at them, scarpering on the buses instead of staying put in their shelters." I didn't point out that not everyone in Southampton had shelters. Deirdre had lost her son at the beginning of the war, in the sea off the coast of Norway. She no longer cared what she said, and nobody took her to task. "They've got tea anyway," I said. "Yes, the stockpile we were saving for the Christmas carols." She regarded the child sourly. "Your Mr. Parr will find that mother of hers. Trained for this, isn't he? Billeting
Sample complete. Ready to continue?